Louise Sutherland was about to experience an amazing surprise when her cherished dog Rio had her babies. This wasn't Rio's first time having puppies. Like her previous birth, everyone expected this delivery to go normally. Things got a bit complicated during the birth, but nothing dangerous happened. The real shock came when Louise and her daughter looked at the newborn puppies. While 8 of the babies looked completely normal, one puppy was totally different from the others. They had no idea what Rio had given birth to. They searched online for answers, and what they discovered was incredible. This amazing story happened when the dog had her litter in July 2017. Louise Sutherland from Scotland watched over the birth process. She had helped with many dog births before, but this one would really surprise her. Louise Sutherland lives in Golspie in the Scottish Highlands. It's a tiny village by the North Sea, protected by Ben Braggie Mountain. Around 350 people call this place home. It's a gorgeous village with stunning views everywhere. But this time, the town wouldn't become famous for its beautiful scenery. It would be known for very strange news. Without a doubt, her dog's pregnancy brought big changes to Louise's life. Louise had many dogs because she loved them so much. Louise was both a wife and a mother. She always had pets around her house. Dogs and people have been best friends since ancient times. We've all heard wonderful stories about their friendship, and there are tons of movies and TV shows about it too. Louise and her family absolutely love having dogs in their home. You'd see lots of dogs and cats running around her house. Obviously, Louise had seen all kinds of funny and adorable animal behavior. But everything she felt before was completely different from what she experienced when her Golden Labrador had her puppies. This time felt special. As mentioned, Louise keeps several dogs, but she loved her Golden Retriever most of all. However, none of them knew that her Retriever would soon give her the surprise of her lifetime. Her Retriever was just 3 years old then. Rio was a calm, friendly dog. She was very social and loved spending time in the backyard. The dog had become lazier since getting pregnant and spent most of her time resting in her bed. This wasn't Rio's first pregnancy. She had given birth to her first group of puppies 1 year earlier. Louise thought the same thing would happen again this time. There weren't any problems during the pregnancy. The Retriever had delivered all her previous puppies safely, so Louise expected everything would go smoothly again. But would it really happen that easily? Of course not. If everything had gone normally, we wouldn't be sharing this story with you, and you wouldn't be reading it. Does that make sense? Her first delivery took 5 hours, and she had 5 puppies that time. But they didn't keep those puppies for themselves, because it would have been impossible to take care of all of them and give them the attention they needed. So what did they decide to do? They chose to sell the puppies to people who loved dogs and could give them all the care they deserved. This might sound harsh to some people, but it was their only choice because the family didn't have enough money to raise them all. It wasn't easy for them to give those puppies away, but it was important for those tiny, cute creatures to get all the love and care they needed during such a delicate time in their lives. This time, they planned to do the same thing. However, this time, they would see a big difference. Since Louise had experience caring for puppies, she thought taking care of the new babies would be easy. So she bought everything they would need. She prepared everything for the upcoming delivery. They gave Rio a large room where she could have her babies comfortably. Also, all the other animals were kept away from her. She needed peace and quiet during this time. The big day was getting closer. The Sutherlands thought they were ready for everything. They had no idea they would keep puppies until they grew old enough to go to their new families. But soon, Louise would discover that one of those newborns would completely change their lives. It was extraordinary. Rio finally had her babies on July 7, 2017. Rio and her babies were all safe and healthy. She gave birth to 9 adorable puppies, 7 boys and 1 girl, creating a beautiful family. But fate had something extraordinary in store. Rio was clearly very happy, and so was Louise. But their joy didn't last very long. Soon they would witness something amazing. Their smiles disappeared when they saw one puppy that looked completely strange. This particular puppy looked nothing like the other puppies. They looked at each other, hoping someone could explain what they were seeing, but both of them were totally shocked. One important thing to mention is that even though there were no problems during the pregnancy, something unexpected happened during the delivery. Louise and Claire were both there when Rio gave birth to her babies. Claire, just like her mom, loves dogs. She enjoys taking care of them and often helps her mother with cleaning and feeding. But she had never seen a dog give birth before, so this would be her first experience. They stood nearby without planning to interfere. They just wanted to watch this magical moment and make sure their dog got through the process safely. It was good that they stayed with Rio because the two of them quickly noticed something was wrong. They had to act fast because Rio looked like she was in terrible pain. Louise and Claire were standing to the side while Rio was lying on the floor giving birth. Louise had watched Rio give birth before, so it didn't take her long to realize that the labor wasn't going as it should. Rio was crying out in pain, and when they came closer to get a better look, they realized a puppy was stuck. The puppy's head was sticking out, but the body was trapped inside. Rio also seemed very distressed, and now it was up to Louise and Claire to do something. They had only two choices. They could just wait and hope Rio could push the puppy out herself, or they could help her. Seeing her in so much pain, they decided to help. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. Louise remembers, when we realized our pet dog was having trouble, we all worked together and immediately put on gloves and went to help the dog. They pulled the first puppy out safely. If they hadn't helped her quickly, Rio could have died. Luckily, after the first puppy was removed, all the others came out without any problems. Louise recalls, the first pup was stuck, so my daughter Claire and I managed to free him and pull him out safely. All the puppies were safe and healthy, except for one that died just an hour after being born. Louise was happy that she could help Rio when she couldn't help herself. But when Louise looked at the babies, she couldn't stop staring at one puppy that looked extremely different. Louise had seen Rio give birth before, and that wasn't even very long ago. But this time, she felt as surprised as the first time. She also realized how strong their Rio was. The dog never got scared once. After giving birth, the golden retriever pulled her babies close to her. Among all the puppies, there was one that really stood out. It wasn't golden colored, it was green. It was born green. And that's very unusual. Louise explained. As the puppies started coming out, we noticed that one of the puppies had green fur. We couldn't believe it. Labrador and golden retriever puppies have bright gold fur. Their golden color is how people recognize them. The color makes it easy to identify them. But this mint green colored retriever left both mother and daughter in complete disbelief. While the sight fascinated them, they also worried that something might be wrong. They had never heard of a golden retriever giving birth to a green puppy. What shocked them most was that all the other puppies had normal coloring except for this one. They thought maybe the puppy was sick. It might need emergency medical help. If it was a disease, what kind could it be? Whatever was happening, it was really scary. So before going to the veterinarian, they decided to search the internet to see if they could find any information. Their decision to look online was absolutely the right choice, because they learned exactly why the puppy's color was green. First of all, they felt relieved when they learned that the baby was not in any danger. What's more, they found out that the puppy that had just been born in their house was a rare one. The two of them had never imagined that the puppy they were initially worried about was a rare dog that would become a mystery in history. Naturally, both mother and daughter celebrated after learning this amazing fact about the puppy. What they discovered on the internet was that the green puppy born in their house belonged to a group of rare puppies that had been born with the same color all around the world. This was only the fourth time in recorded history that such a miracle had occurred. Not surprisingly, only a handful of puppies have ever been born with the same coloring. When we looked it up later, we found out it's very unusual and has to do with the placenta, Louise explained. You might think some health problem caused this phenomenon, but that's not true. There's a scientific explanation for it. Well, what could change the color of a newborn completely? Here's the answer. If you love dogs and know about their biology, You might also know about biliverdin. It's a green bile substance found in the dog's uterus. Nobody knows exactly what this bile substance does, but it's found in every female dog's uterus. Maybe it stays in the uterus to give puppies food or other nutrients during pregnancy. It might surprise you to learn that this substance is also found in humans. It's because of this substance that sometimes our bruises turn yellow and green. As people say, too much of anything can be harmful. Similarly, too much bile can cause jaundice in someone's blood, body tissues, and circulation system. Biliverdin is rarely found in puppies. It stays in the bloodstream throughout life, but usually stays hidden from view. It happens very rarely when biliverdin mixes with the fluid surrounding the baby in the uterus. This is what must have happened with Rio's puppy. Dr. Victor Stora from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine explained, "The placenta has a huge blood supply, and lots of blood flows through the placenta," Stora told PetMD. He continued, "Blood that escapes from the main placenta breaks down in the uterus into biliverdin, and if this substance gets into the sac that surrounds the puppy, it would dye the baby's fur green. So this puppy's placenta must have been abnormal if it didn't keep the biliverdin out and let it get in. Usually, problems with the placenta cause the puppy to die because that's the only way it gets food and oxygen. You would think that if there's a problem with the placenta, it would be strange that only biliverdin would leak out and no other substances. This puppy is very lucky that the problem that let the biliverdin in didn't allow any other potentially dangerous substances to get through. Besides staining the fur, biliverdin doesn't do anything else to the body. There's no danger involved. Also, the color only lasts a short time. It keeps fading over weeks, thanks to the constant growth of new fur and the mother's licking. Eventually, the puppy would look just like all its brothers and sisters. Even though the puppy wouldn't keep its green color forever, Louise and Claire knew it was special. It's not every day you see a golden retriever give birth to a green puppy. This was a once-in-a-lifetime sight. So they decided to give a special name to this special puppy that would match its appearance. The name should reflect its green color, so it needed to be something related to nature. They found inspiration from the Scottish Highlands, which was famous for its bushes, greenery, forests, and hills. So they decided to name the puppy Forest. Now that they had named the dog, it was time for the next step. As they had decided from the beginning, they had to let the puppies go. Obviously, they had grown very fond of all their puppies in the litter. This was going to be a really difficult situation. Over time, the color faded. Louise said, "The colors have already faded quite a bit and will be gone soon, I'm told, but that doesn't make it less important." Louise loved all 9 puppies, but keeping them all in the house just wasn't possible. That would put too much financial strain on them. Also, they didn't have enough space to keep them all. Even though they didn't want to, they decided to do what they had done with Rio's previous litter. But this time, they were going to make one exception. They sold all the puppies except Forest. They just felt that this puppy was meant to stay with them. While Forest's 7 brothers and 1 sister would go to loving new families, this special green miracle would remain where destiny had brought him. The green puppy continued to grow in their care and turned out to be a playful golden retriever. This phenomenon had only happened 4 times before Forest. In 2014, the birth of 2 green puppies was reported. And then another case was reported in the UK, where a chocolate lab gave birth to a green puppy. Forest is getting lots of love and care. It has also become very friendly with the children and adults in the family. Just like its mother, Forest also likes to play outside and make new friends. So if you ever see a green puppy, it could be a rare one. Did you enjoy this story? What would you have done if your dog had a green puppy? Would you keep it or sell it? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Different can be beautiful. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.